Well, welcome and good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining our annual 2020 YMCA meeting. This is the second year in a row that we've been virtual, and we're doing our annual meeting despite Zoom fatigue. Appreciate everybody being here with this wonderful weather outside. So thanks for spending some time with us tonight. We have some great celebrations. We've had a very challenging year and we've made it through. And May 29th, I hear the masks come off, so we can really start to celebrate. So, so looking forward to next year being in person, or even later this year. So thank you. This year's theme for our annual meeting is Stronger Together. And it sure was a tough year. I think no one could disagree with that. It's been a time when partnerships were more valuable than ever before. And the support of every single person on this call and our community leaders, I really want to thank you all for being here, because together we are stronger. So before we start the formal program tonight, I want to give you a few housekeeping pieces of information. First, if you could mute during the program, that would be great, so that there's not a lot of background noise. We encourage people to type their questions in the bottom of the toolbar here. You can go into the chat and type your questions. The Y staff will be monitoring, and we can answer any questions that you have. And there will be a portion of this meeting where you need to vote. So the volunteer members will need to use the polling at the bottom. So that will pop up on your screen for the people who need to vote. But anyway, I would like to really acknowledge everyone's time here. We have over 100 people joining tonight, and really thank you for making these connections. We couldn't do what we do without the amazing volunteers that we have, the dedicated board members, the dedicated board of incorporators, and the board of managers. Really the hours and the time that you've spent, especially over the last year when there was so much chaos, so much unknown. You've all strengthened us by bringing your best selves and being a part of this organization and a part of the success that we get to celebrate tonight. So thank you. Later this evening, we're also going to be able to welcome our new leaders and their commitment to the Y, and celebrate some leaders that have been longtime members that are stepping down, not far, but they are officially retiring from the board. So we will celebrate and recognize as well the individuals and organizations that were part of the success and the amazing things that we've done in 2020. So first, I'd like to introduce tonight Jim Downs. He's our Y President and Chief Operating Officer, and he's going to provide our opening thought. And a special thanks to Jim for the leadership that you provided in 2020 through all the ups and downs and unknowns. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mary. The theme of Stronger Together has been so evident over the last 12 months. And so I would like my opening thought to focus on how we here tonight are stronger together, and not just stronger, but happier and more fulfilled. Many of us have been isolated throughout most of 2020 as we all tried to get through an awful pandemic and the realities of COVID. Whether it was a loss of life or severe illness or losing a job or not being able to see loved ones, it was a very challenging year. We all had decisions to make as we went through this pandemic, and I am proud of our community, the Y, and all of you. We chose to help others through what I would say was the most difficult year for our YMCA, but also the one that I am most proud of. And hopefully you are equally as proud. I think this quote by Booker T. Washington says a lot about the people we have at our sides and the organization we either work for, donate to, volunteer for, or partner with. The quote is, "Those who are happiest are those who do the most for others." Do for others is what defined the last year for our organization. Whether that was opening emergency childcare when essential workers had to be there for those impacted by COVID and relied on our childcare staff to care for those kids so they could do for others. Started our food access program when seniors and families needed us most for the most basic needs like food, toiletries, diapers, and many other essentials, doing for others. Community members organizing food drives to supply the food that we needed, doing for others. Organizations partnering with the Y to support the services we offer to help those in need, doing for others. Remote learning programs for students that parents, offering for students that parents could go to work, doing for others. I could be here all night sharing examples of, doing for others. And we'll have an opportunity tonight to recognize some individuals and organizations that exemplify doing for others. But I want to thank each and every one of you who helped our YMCA, other service organizations, or directly to individuals through this very difficult time, and know that you've made a difference. With every challenge in life, you will find heroes doing for others. And we have had so many heroes who have come forward to help our communities through this. I will end with this anonymous quote. The greatest of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. We are fortunate to be a small part of a great community. Thank you and enjoy the annual meeting.
Thank you very much, Jim. Now we're going to begin a brief business meeting, and that'll be prior to all of our celebrations. First report you will hear is from our volunteer leaders, and this is our finance chair. It's really a critical part of what the board members do in maintaining the fiscal strength and our ability to really connect to the community. So I will invite Paul Lenahan to the first order of business. Paul is going to present the financial results, and he has been a longtime board member. He's also been a longtime treasurer for us, and he chairs today's finance committee. So Paul, never before has this year been more important fiscally for the Y, and thank you for your leadership. So please go ahead with the report. You will see some amazing things that we were able to accomplish this year. Thanks, Paul.
Mary, thank you very much. I'm happy to step up to the podium, so to speak. It's my pleasure to report on the financial results for 2020 for the Hockomock Area YMCA. 2020 was a very challenging year for all of us, and the Y was no exception. I'm very proud of how our YMCA adapted and responded to the challenges of last year. Our Y has been a fiscally sound organization for many years, and as a result, we were well positioned to deal with the financial impact of the pandemic, something we continue to work through in 2021. And I'd like to thank the members of the Finance Committee and our staff leadership for their partnership in 2020, as together we monitored the Y's finances. The 2020 financial statements, a summary of which is included in the annual report, were audited by Kahn, Litwin, and Renza, and a clean, unmodified opinion dated January 31, 2021 was issued on the audit for 2020. It should be noted that the management letter accompanying the audit contained no findings or weaknesses. On the screen now is a summary of the audit. I hope you can all see that, but our audited results before taking into account depreciation and investment results showed that we ended 2020 with an operating deficit of $71,360, compared with an operating surplus in 2019 of $1,527,669. Our YMCA, as noted on the summary on the screen, provided just under $2 million in scholarships and program subsidies, ensuring that we continue to be there for those who need us. In 2020, our YMCA, in partnership with Bristol County Savings Bank, was a recipient of a $2.3 million PPP loan, excuse me, from the government through Bristol County Savings Bank, which assisted the YMCA in coming close to break even before depreciation and investment results. We do anticipate that loan from the government will be completely forgiven, and we've applied through the bank, and it's been submitted, and they have 90 days to make a determination, but we're very optimistic that we met all the requirements of the PPP loan. Additional highlights from last year that I want to share with you include the following. 10,264 YMCA members stayed with the Y and donated their dues for a portion of the time since we closed last March. Our YMCA made the decision to continue to pay all Y staff when we were forced to close in March, a decision that was made by the staff and board leadership to ensure that our culture remained intact, and we do believe that it was the right thing to do. And when we subsequently received the PPP loan, our Y was able to keep staff on payroll through the end of June. And with the summer camp opening, many staff were able to transition into new roles there, and in the fall, staff transitioned to work with our remote learning initiatives. Last year, we received more than $3 million in public support, not including the PPP loan or the value of donated membership dues. This was an increase of $700,000 over 2019's level. And we secured more than 1.3 million in grant income, which is part of the total public figure support in 2020 because of the important work we were doing in food access. This compared to only 320,000 in grant income in 2019. Although this is a report on our 2020 results, I am happy to report that we also received another $2 million PPP loan in April of 2021. And we will also be eligible to receive money under the Employee Retention Tax Credit available to many organizations. Our wise fiscal stability carried us through a challenging year in 2020. We began last year with $9,045,616 in total cash and investments. At the end of 2020, the Hockomock Area YMCA reported total cash and investments of $10,551,960. We are extremely grateful for the generosity of many donors allowing the YMCA to weather the financial challenges as a result of the pandemic. Now for some good news for 2021. Our camp registrations at the end of April are at the highest point ever through that date as we continue to move on the road to recovery. This is very likely due to the fact that we had a very successful camp in 2020, despite all of the COVID required constraints that the camp leadership faced. And they did a wonderful job and did achieve a great amount of success, and people were very happy. I would be happy to answer any questions on the financial results at this point in time. And I don't see any questions. So I would now like to make a motion to accept the 2020 financial report and would ask you to look at the polling block, which will appear on your screen shortly.
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second? I'll second it.
Second.
And the polling block should appear on people's screens, and then we can vote on that.
Yeah, I just got notified by one of my colleagues that there's a problem. Never happens with these kinds of technology things before, but there's a problem with the poll and something and with the account. So we're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. So if folks can just give us a thumbs up, and we'll take it that way. I apologize.
Aye.
Thumbs up.
All right. Oh, here it is.
Oh,
There it
there
is.
it is.
There it is. Just came up. Okay.
Good things happen to people who wait, Ed. So I think while the voting takes place, and I hope that it's a unanimous vote, because they usually are unanimous, I'd like to just share a few thoughts that I have, as this is my last report to the annual meeting as Finance Committee Chair, as a member of the Board of Directors of the YMCA. It has been my great pleasure to have been on the board of the Y for 24 years. I've had the honor of serving as the chairman of the Board of Directors from 2001 to 2003, and as treasurer since 2007. And Greg Meinertz tells me that I may be the longest serving treasurer at 14 years. As chairman, I was proud to witness the groundbreaking of the Foxborough YMCA, a beautiful branch, and the people of Foxborough and Sharon certainly enjoy that. During those years, the Y has grown and collaborated with so many fabulous community partners, like the ones being recognized here tonight. I have loved being part of that growth and believe the Y has contributed to a more vibrant quality of life in the 15 communities we serve. The Y has always been about relationships with others. Our members, community and school leaders we partner with, the Y staff, and the rapport it has with the Board of Directors. I've enjoyed these affiliations so much. Ed Hurley has been a model for all of us in how to build and maintain relationships. The connections that naturally occur with fellow board members and professional Y staff have added to my satisfaction in being involved with a diverse and talented group of people who are united in service to others. I was lucky enough to be a part of the Legends Ball Steering Committee over the last 15 years, and I've enjoyed watching that moving event grow and support our integration initiative, a truly beautiful and beneficial program. I also need to thank my wife, Karen, for her unwavering support of my Y volunteer commitment over the many years I've served. Without Karen's support, I would not have been effective in my volunteer role. Thank you so much, Karen. Jim Downs and Ed, I can't thank you enough for your leadership and support during these years. Greg Meinertz, as CFO, your preparation always made my role easier, and any success I enjoyed is shared with you. Mary Claremont, as retiring chair of the board of directors during these most trying times, your leadership and active participation in the finance committee was invaluable and appreciated by all. I'll miss the finance committee meetings, but I know that John Hage and Sharon Kennedy and the other great members of the finance committee will carry on and do wonderful things for the Y. Finally, as the Y faced unprecedented challenges due to the pandemic mandated shutdown, it's been so gratifying to watch our staff, which remained intact, be flexible and respond to the food insecurity and virtual educational challenges faced by so many. Additionally, our board and Y staff were united in their commitment to keep our Y associates working at the peak of uncertainty in 2020. That commitment was prior to knowing the PPP support would help so much, and that decision was made at the same time the stock market was hitting its 2020 bottom. We knew it was the right thing to do for our associates and reflected our organization's values. The Y's talented leadership team's creativity in reacting to community needs was truly heartwarming. I will soon be assuming a key leadership role in a new foundation focused on health, which is being created as a result of the Community VNA's merger with Hope Health in Rhode Island. This has been ongoing for nearly a year and awaits the Massachusetts Attorney General's approval, which is expected shortly. This has required a considerable commitment by me over the last year and will continue as we launch. So although my retirement from the Y will occur, I believe our paths will cross again as our goals of improving the health within our communities are aligned. Again, I'd like to thank you for giving me the wonderful opportunity to serve others. I'd like to finish with a passage from the Prophet written by Khalil Gibran. I have strived to live my adult life inspired by these words, which are, you give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. I have received so much joy from my Y experience and the quality people I've worked with. And I know the Y will continue to be a magnet for exceptional and talented individuals as it adapts to the challenges faced by the 15 communities we serve. I will always be one of your biggest cheerleaders. Thank you, Mary and Ed, for allowing me the opportunity to say these words.
Thank you, Paul. It's just amazing that it's been 24 years and you being such a great leader. You've been a wonderful role model for me. We are going to celebrate you a little bit later on tonight. But I do want to just, first of all, repeat that the Finance Committee met every single month. They had special sessions, emergency sessions, had a lot of decisions to make, and Paul was there leading the way. So thank you, Paul, for your steady hand and your knowledge and your true leadership getting us through the pandemic and the financial situation that we all faced with the strength of the values of the Y behind every decision. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you all.
So,
I hope we have a unanimous vote now to announce.
I can see the results and we passed. So thank you. Everyone approved.
Wonderful.
Now I'm going to pass the baton over to Eric Kevorkian temporarily to give our board development report.
Thank you, Mary. As we saw in 2020, strong volunteer leadership is the foundation of our YMCA. Cultivating and developing an engaged and vibrant volunteer board is a very deliberative process, and a successful process builds capacity in so many ways for the YMCA. This process also serves as a compass for the future direction of our Y. And in this spirit, I'm proud to present our Board Development Committee report. The committee recommendations will be displayed on your screen now. And the Board Development Committee recommends the election of the following people to the Board of Incorporators for 3-year terms ending with the 2023 annual meeting. Michael Borg, Paul Feeney, Kevin Goff, Mike Grace, Dennis Kelly, Kevin Kiley, Julie Kinney, Tim Lynch, Brian Patel, and Kurt Rodman. The Development Committee also recommends the re-election of the following people to the Board of Incorporators for 3-year terms ending with the 2023 annual meeting. Doug Anino, Amy Berdos, Peter Brock, Kevin Dumas, Jay Elias, Mark Fisher, Tim Gilmore, Tara Goodwin, Marty Harris, Bill Keegan, Michelle Kelly, John Corona, Jack Lank, Kevin McIntyre, Robert Meany, Kevin Morrissey, Teresa Murphy, Michelle Palladini, Elizabeth Poirier, Julia Raymond, Paula Rooney, Tim Sullivan, Ron Tondreau, and Maureen Wilkinson. May I have I'm sorry. May I have a motion and a second to accept the slate as presented?
I'll make a motion.
To accept the slate of new Board of Incorporators as presented.
And I'd like to second that.
Great, thank you. Everyone can please use the poll on your screen to vote as we just did a few moments ago. Give it a minute. Okay. So congratulations. Thank you to all of the new and renewing members of our Board of Incorporators. Your service to our Y and to our local communities will truly have an impact on the lives of kids and families. I would like to now briefly adjourn the annual meeting and call to order a meeting of the Board of Incorporators. A key responsibility of the Board of Incorporators is to elect the Board of Directors each year at our annual meeting. The Board Development Committee proposes to the Board of Incorporators the election of the following people to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending with the 2023 annual meeting. Lisa Beatty, Angela Davis, and Sharon Mullane. Also, the re-election of the following people to the Board of Directors for a 3-year term ending with the 2023 annual meeting. Jeff Duffy, Eric Kevorkian, Dennis Leahy, Allison Mosca, Jerry Shaw, and Mark Wolfel. The Board Development Committee also recommends the election of the following board officers for the next 2 years. Chair, Eric Kevorkian, Vice Chair, Farzeen Karim, Treasurer, John Hage, Assistant Treasurer, Sharon Kennedy, and Secretary, Darlene Gannett. May I please have a motion and a second from the members of the Board of Incorporators to elect the proposed members of the Board of Directors and the board officers?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Please use the poll on your screens again to vote on these recommendations. Okay. I just want to say a warm welcome to all of the new and the renewing members of the Board of Directors. Thank you for your commitment to our mission and to all those that we serve. Mary, I'd like to turn it all back to you.
Great. Thank you, Eric. So now that we've adjourned our annual meeting, I'd like to extend my welcome to the new members of the board and the Board of Incorporators whose terms are ending and not renewing. We appreciate those of you who have committed over the past few years and look forward to continuing to engage with RY. It's been really great to have such strong partnership, and I just love seeing everybody on video. It's been great to see all the Board of Incorporators. I do miss the face-to-face. We will get back to that, but I want to really formally recognize 2 key board members. So as you heard earlier, we have 2 members leaving our board, but they're still going to stay connected. First is Victoria Lechner. Victoria joined our board 27 years ago. She was our first female board chair, and she spent literally thousands of hours of her time and her expertise supporting the community. And she supported so many other organizations, not just the YMCA. She's been so active and just such a role model and inspiration to me and so many others. We're thrilled that you're going to continue to serve on our finance committee. You've always been there. You quietly lead, and your actions and your input is very valued. And when you speak, everyone listens. So thank you, Vicki. It's really been a pleasure to be able to work with you all these years.
Thank you, Mary. And thank everyone. It's been an honor for me to serve on the Y. And it's just added such a rich layer to my life. I'm going to miss it, but I'm still going to be a part of it. I'll stay on the finance committee, and it's just been an honor for me.
Thank you, Vicki. And I'm putting you on the spot because you weren't supposed to have to comment tonight, but like I said, you're very quiet, and when you do speak, everyone listens. So thank you so much. And it's the quiet leadership that really inspires me, because I'm quiet by nature as well. So thank you. And I also mentioned Paul as he gave the Treasury and the Finance Committee report. He's been a member of the board for 24 years. His service is going to be impossible to replace when you think about, breaking ground on Foxborough. He's really been there through the thick and thin, and especially this year when it was very, very challenging. And we really appreciate all that you've delivered. You've been a great friend to the Y, Paul. You and Vicki both have been just so deserving of recognition. And I wish you were here in person so we could give you a big hug and hand you your nice framed gift to remind you of your impact on the Y. I think that we have the picture of your gift to share with you, since we're not going to be there in person to hand it to you. But it's a quote that thanks you for being part of our board of directors. So this is what we're going to send to you. But really, all those years of service and thousands, I was actually trying to calculate all the hours. So since I'm not a finance person, couldn't actually wrap my head around just how many hours of volunteer time and leadership that you've given to the Y. So thank you, and appreciate everything that you've done. And you'll always be a board member emeritus, and we'll continue to look to see you at events in the future. And by the way, Ed still has you on speed dial, so you'll be in our hearts, but you'll be in his phone, so you know how that goes. I'd also like to add my congratulations to the new members of Board of Incorporators, and especially our new Board of Directors, Angela Davis, Sharon Mullane, and Lisa Beatty. Really look forward to working with you in the future, and it's just a pleasure to have so many great community partners. So I'll reconvene our annual meeting now and remind everyone that this year's annual report is a virtual document. It was emailed to everyone prior to the meeting, but it can also be found on hockomockymca.org. And in that, I encourage you to share the report of impact and the stories of impact that collectively we all were a part of, whether it was feeding the community, providing daycare for families, being a safe place for kids. It was just an amazing year. So please feel free to share that. I'm really proud of what this Y accomplished, especially this year. I really got to see up close and personal just how they made a difference in the community. And so many families really received gifts beyond what they could have imagined. So we have the opportunity now to recognize people who are a part of that, a big part of that. So this is one of my favorite parts of the year, when we get to recognize people through the Red Triangle Awards. So these Red Triangle Awards are presented to individuals and organizations, and they are recognition for the partnership and support of programs and activities of the Y, helping us to meet the ever-changing needs for the local community. And each recipient will receive their reward tonight at after the meeting, along with a framed page out of the annual report. As always, there's some great stories highlighting these recipients. And the first award we will be presenting tonight is the Foxborough Invensys Branch Red Triangle Award presented by Jim Downs. So Jim, I'll turn it to you.
It is an incredible privilege to be able to honor Grace Chapel tonight for their outstanding work serving the community and doing some of this great work through a partnership with our YMCA. Grace Chapel and their campus pastor, Tom Boyclair, are leading the way in giving back to community. I am amazed at the culture of compassion that Grace Chapel exudes that we are fortunate enough to be part of as a YMCA. I want to share a few ways we as two organizations with similar missions have partnered together. Campus Pastor Tom sits as an active and engaged board member of the Foxborough Board of Managers, helping to advise and connect our Y to the community. As an organization, Grace Chapel offered the youth pastor to be part of our teen center. The members of Grace Chapel volunteered to help with day of operations for our Foxborough 5K and Healthy Kids Day. Our YMCA was a beneficiary of the 2020 Christmas Eve collection and an active part in the Giving Tree program, providing additional resources and gifts to families in need. At no cost, provided space on their campus for YMCA events and meetings. Many day of services over several years. Over 30 volunteers, parishioners, led by Dom DeLuca, volunteered for camp cleanup and YMCA outdoor beautification projects throughout our YMCA campus. They helped with bag making, distribution, and recruiting volunteers for our Y Food distribution program. Organized the largest food drive our Y has had from a community partner with 6 different drop-off dates, helping us feed hundreds of families of seniors with needs. The list goes on from there. They have been the ultimate partner to YMCA as we've worked together to meet the needs of Foxborough and surrounding communities. As a YMCA, we thrive when we work together, and it reminds me of a quote by Helen Keller. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. Together we do so much. This is why we honor Grace Chapel with the Invensys Foxborough Red Triangle Award. My friend, Pastor Tom Boyclair, is accepting the award for Grace Chapel. Thank you, Tom.
On behalf of Grace Chapel and specifically Grace Chapel Foxborough, thank you for the Red Triangle Award. We're honored to accept it. As a church, we want to be for others, so it's a privilege to partner with great organizations like the Hockomock YMCA, who are doing great work in our communities. There are several things I love about the Y, but one that stands out is how you care for and love people. It starts with the culture you create on your teams. I see it in the way you stepped up to help and continue to help with food assistance since the beginning of the pandemic. I see it in the way you seek to provide safe places for children to learn and grow. I see it in the way you provide leadership opportunities for students to become the best version of themselves. You believe in being for others, and so do we. Thank you for allowing us to partner with you.
I'm Scott Martin, Branch Executive Director of the Burnham Family Branch YMCA in Franklin. We are proud to award the Burnham Family Branch's Red Triangle Award to the Bellingham Senior Center. The collaboration between the Bellingham Senior Center and our Franklin Y is a perfect example of 2 community-focused organizations working together to help those in need by leveraging and complementing each other's strengths. And really, what I'm maybe most proudest of is how quickly the Bellingham Senior Center responded, how these collaborations take minutes and hours to get to decisions and solutions, not days, weeks, or months. In 2020, when the Bellingham Senior Center was looking for a solution to help Bellingham seniors get supplies from the local food pantry, the Y stepped in to provide food and deliveries to the seniors. And when the summer came and the Y was looking for a site in Bellingham where we could distribute meals to students who would typically receive free or reduced lunch in school, with one phone call, our Y was able to use the Bellingham Senior Center as our base of operations. On behalf of the Franklin Y, I'd like to present our Red Triangle Award to the Bellingham Senior Center and to congratulate and thank Josie Dutiel, the Executive Director of the Bellingham Senior Center, for her willingness to collaborate with our Y and for all the work she's done for our community during these challenging times.
I'd like to express our sincere gratitude in being recognized as this year's Red Triangle Award winner. Partnering with the Hockomock Area YMCA was a very easy choice to make when I took on the role as Senior Center Director in Bellingham, especially considering I had worked for them for 3 years and got to see firsthand the impact they make on the communities they served. As a youth and young adult, I played a lot of competitive sports, and something I learned at an early age was that teamwork makes the dream work. We are so fortunate to be playing on the same team as the Hockomock Area YMCA. Henry Ford once said, "Coming together is the beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success." I'm excited to continue to work together to see where success leads us.
I'm Ed Hurley. The impact of our Y has always been tied to our local community and engaged and passionate partners like Artie Eaton. In 2013, Artie and Help Inc., the company he founded, relocated to Plainville, just a stone's throw from our North Attleboro branch. And Artie has been a great friend to our Y and to those we serve ever since. He joined our Board of Incorporators in 2016 and has been a champion and an advocate of our work. Artie has always believed in giving back. For years, each holiday season, he invites his staff, his colleagues, customers, vendors to drop off gifts and toys to his showroom for kids that they will never meet. And for the past 3 years, he has donated all of the toys he's collected to RY to support our Giving Tree program. And I remember last fall getting a call from Artie asking if we're going to need toys again this year. He thought the need would be greater than ever, and I assured him that we did and that it would be. And thanks to Artie and the hundreds of gifts he collected last December, we were able to fulfill a record number of requests from families this holiday season. And Artie's quote in the annual report, which you've all received virtually, I think says it all. Artie said, "Seeing how the YMCA responded during the pandemic, I felt the need to give back even more. Everyone should. I have always believed that the more you get, the more you should give. And that's why I'm so committed to supporting the great work of the Hockomock Area YMCA. And our YMCA and the communities we get to serve are truly stronger together because of his passionate support. So on behalf of the Hockomock Area YMCA, I'm honored to present Artie Eaton and Help Inc. with the North Attleboro Branch Red Triangle Award in recognition of their partnership with our YMCA. Congratulations, Artie.
My name is Artie Eaton. I'm the owner of Help Incorporated. We're a local security, fire alarm, and audio video company in Plainville. I've had the blessing of working in this Southern Mass area for close to 40 years. About 10 years ago, Bill Napolitano knew that my tenure with the MSCA was running out, and I guess he wanted to give me another organization to work with, and he brought me to one of your events. I believe it was Gillette Stadium. I was hooked. So from that point on, I got involved, in some aspects. The Y's been an essential part of the community. I know that from being in these events and seeing people talk. It's amazing. During this COVID time, Ed and his staff, I don't know how they did it, but they kept the lights on. They kept supporting the community. They should be getting an award, not me. I think that was amazing. Myself and my employees will continue to support the Y. It's an amazing organization, so I accept this award on behalf of the great people here at Help. For years I've wanted to get an Emmy, but this actually feels better. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, the Y. Keep up the good work.
All three of these award winners, I really appreciate everything that you've done. You really have been an essential part of the communities, and you truly impacted the YMCA community support network in ways that we don't even know, right? The people that you touch, the lives that you've really embellished and enhanced has been remarkable. So thank you for all you do. Now we have an opportunity to recognize some of our young people. Every year we look at our community emerging leaders and have an opportunity to recognize the youth of the year. So each of these presentations will be based on out of each branch, and we're going to start with first Tammy Dean, who's our Food Access Lead Program staff member, and she's going to start the presentations for the Youth of the Year Awards.
Hi, I'm Tammy Dean, and I'm here to present the North Attleboro Branch Youth of the Year Award to Kritisha Agrawal. Over the last 14 months, I've gotten to know Kritisha, and I look forward to seeing her every Wednesday. She's not only a coworker, a co-volunteer, but also a great friend. She's mature beyond her years, always eager to help, hardworking, has an energetic attitude, and no matter the weather, heat, snow, wind, rain, she always has a smile on her face and a twinkle in her eye. We can see the smile through her mask. It's refreshing to see someone of her age communicate and engage with participants of all ages. I remember on a freezing cold Wednesday night, a man approached us who needed help, and he spoke fluent Spanish. She quickly came over, began to translate, and before I knew it, he was in the car, bag full of groceries, smile on his face, and he drove away. It was awesome. I believe this award is just the beginning of many accomplishments she'll be able to put on her college resume someday. Application. She's already starting to pave the way for her successes in the future. Kritisha, this award is well deserved. You should be very, very proud of yourself. Our entire Y team and family is very proud of you. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Kritisha Agarwal, and I've been volunteering with the Y for almost a year now. Being at the Y means so much to me because I've seen the impact that I'm putting on other people's lives. Even if it is just for a short period of time, it still helps people, and that's what the Y is all about. Before I had started to volunteer, I had no idea how bad COVID really was. I would hear about it from my parents and the news, but never got a real feel for it until I volunteered. In total, being at the Y was a big learning experience, and I am so thankful for getting chosen to receive this award. It really was a great opportunity, and it means so much to me.
Hi, my name is Pat Grady, and I'm here to present the Franklin Youth of the Year Award to James Robbins, who is a 16-year-old sophomore at Canton High School. He is there every Wednesday to help me distribute the bags to the families in need that come to our YMCA. He is a huge help and always is willing to do whatever I ask of him, which is what I appreciate the most about him. He is a big asset, and I really enjoy working with him. So I am thrilled to give you this award, James. Congratulations.
Thank you for this award. I really appreciate it. What I most appreciate is being given the opportunity by the YMCA to be able to help people. While the YMCA helps the community every day in their regular mission, when the pandemic struck, a lot of people were struggling. And the YMCA really stepped up with their programs to help those in need. I was happy to be a part of that and to do my part to support the Grab and Go feeding program in Franklin. So thanks again, and to the YMCA, keep up the great work.
I'm Caitlin Gibbs. It's my honor and pleasure to present the Foxborough YMCA Youth of the Year Award to Anna Boy-Claire. The phrase, "the apple doesn't fall far from the tree," resonates with this year's award winner. It's apparent that from a young age, Anna has inherited the giving, generous, and community-focused values that her father, Pastor Tom, also lives by. Early on during the pandemic, Anna joined her dad to drop off a food drive donation that Grace Chapel had organized. And from that moment on, she was a fixture at all of our food access programming. She would come every Wednesday, rain or shine, to help with food bag distribution. Sometimes she'd even appear a few hours later after being picked up and tell us that she begged her mom or dad to bring her back to help. She would come into the Y other days during the week to organize food, make bags, and help with anything else that she could. She always wore a smile and was always genuinely willing to do whatever she could to help those who were turning to our Y for support. Anna's energy is contagious, her passion to help others is evident, and we are so proud to have her as part of our Y family. Please join me in congratulating Anna Boy-Claire, this year's Foxborough YMCA Youth of the Year.
I just wanted to say thank you for receiving such a great award, and I feel honored for receiving something that I just found joy out of. And I really just enjoyed going in every day and helping with the food packaging, and just in general going into the Y is always such a positive experience. So thank you so much.
We should give these kids a big round of applause. I know it's virtual applause. You can use your toolbar, but you're just amazing. You know, as a parent, I look at what these kids are doing, and I know their families are so proud of them. I'm actually looking at Terry Robbins on my screen right now. I met Terry back in early 2000 when we were doing the capital campaign for the Vernon Family Branch, and it's great to see the legacy and tradition of the Robbins family passed down through generations. You've been such an important part of the Y community. And when I heard that we were recognizing James, who I had the chance to meet right before Thanksgiving, and found out that he was there every single week, it just brought tears to my eyes to think how wonderful of a contributor you've become, James. And thank you so much for all you do. And for everyone, Kritisha, Anna, you guys you're rock stars, and you're gonna be really special, special catch for the next college that you end up at. So thank you so much for all you do. Next, I want to talk about an award that we presented for the first time, and it was our Child Protection Award. This was in honor of Tony Calcia, who unfortunately passed away right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was very unexpected. And this is to honor his legacy because he was so committed to child protection. Last year, we recognized the town of Foxborough for their leadership in protecting kids from sexual abuse. This year, it's my pleasure to introduce Katie Moore, our YMCA Vice President of Philanthropy, and she's going to present this year's award. So Katie, take it away.
There is no greater responsibility for the Hockomock Area YMCA than the health and well-being of the children in the 15 communities we are proud to serve. And as we do with all of our mission work, we look for other organizations in our area that have the ability and willingness to partner with us to enhance the scope of our impact. It should come as no surprise that a leading partner in the work to prevent child sexual abuse is New Hope, Inc. of Attleboro. Led by longtime YMCA advocate Marcia Zemansky, New Hope has worked throughout Massachusetts to support victims of domestic and sexual abuse. They have been an integral part of the movement to provide intensive intervention, training, and prevention programs to our community. Our Y is so grateful for New Hope's ongoing partnership in making the safety of children a priority. Inspired by the dedication of this work of our dear colleague, Tony Calcia, and in recognition of your passionate leadership in proactively protecting children in our communities from child sexual abuse, it is my distinct pleasure to present the 2020 Tony Calcia Child Protection Award to New Hope, Inc.
On behalf of the staff and board at New Hope, and of course, the many child survivors of sexual assault, I want to thank the Hockomock YMCA for their leadership and dedication in ending child sexual abuse. New Hope is honored to receive the Tony Calcia Child Protection Award. We all know that this work was a passion for Tony. May his energy and his efforts continue to inspire us as we work to protect and cherish our most precious resource, our children. New Hope looks forward to a continued collaboration with the YMCA. Again, thank you for this recognition. Peace.
So congratulations, Marcia, for everything that you do and everyone at New Hope. It's really important work. And as Marcia said, these children are our future, and we thank you for protecting them. I'm so glad that our partners were able to be recognized, and we have one more recognition to give. And this is the Don Rodman Character Counts Award. This was last year's, new to last year's award, and it's all about Don Rodman, who he was. He treasured the partnership with the YMCA for so many years. And this year's Character Counts Award will be presented by Allison Centrella. She's our Director of Food Access.
I am more than thrilled to present the Don Rodman Character Counts Award to RSA Daycare Supplies. Marty was our first call when we started our food program back in March 2020. I'm so glad we called Marty that day. When our team started this program, which was new territory to us, Marty was a guiding light for helping us find solutions. Marty would be here 3 or 4 times a week when we were low or something that I needed for distribution, or if I forgot to order something. Now, whenever we have a new idea or need to fill a gap, Marty is our first call. Marty and his family have been an integral part of our team. Marty has a heart of gold, and he has a contagious personality and is so eager to help. Marty's generosity towards our Y has been overwhelming, from small things like donating extra bags for our produce to providing all the sides for our Operation Thanksgiving project this past year. Marty has helped with our backpack drive, provided sponsorships for our Legends events, and helped us fulfill the last-minute holiday wish. Marty is the kind of person you want to be in your corner. People like Marty is what make our Y so special. Our Y is full of people that want to help people, just like Marty. Marty, I can't thank you enough for your support over this last year. I appreciate you and your team. Please join me in congratulating Marty and his team at RSA Daycare Supplies.
Thank you, Allison. Good evening. On behalf of my wife, Paula, and our entire family, we are honored to have been chosen to receive this year's Don Rodman Character Counts Award. During the past year, our association with the Hockomock Wise Family Food Program has been a truly humbling experience. As a small family-owned business, like many others, we were forced to shut down for many months due to the pandemic. We were truly blessed to have received a call to help, as this relationship with the YMCA has been helpful for our family to survive financially as well. We have met so many awesome folks and created great bonds and friendships for many years to come. Thank you again for this award.
So congratulations to Marty and Paula and the RSA Daycare Supplies. We really thank you for your true partnership. The food access program sprung up as a need, and you enabled us to help meet that need. We're so grateful for everything that you did and really made it possible for the food access for our local community. So thank you again, everyone. We have one final award, and this award is the Chair's Award. So I had the pleasure of being able to select an individual and an organization for this award. There were so many deserving organizations that have partnered with the Y. It was really difficult to think about who might be the one that I would recognize as my final chair award. But there was certainly a shining star that emerged. And this was someone who was brand new to the Y, and it was John Viscalis and the South Coast Community Foundation. John and his foundation have really been an amazing beacon of strength for the organization. When we were in our critical state of need, facing down the barrel of no membership, nobody coming into our Y except for a few emergency daycare participants, it was a time when we had so many critical decisions to make, and how are we going to fund the food insecurity program that we knew we needed to do for the community. And he was instrumental in giving us not just one grant, but 3 grants to provide that financial foundation that really enabled so much to be done. And I'm just so grateful for John and his foundation to really be able to support all of the needs of the communities that we serve. It's been an amazing partnership. It grows stronger every day. And because of the support of John and the South Coast Community Foundation, I really want to thank you for believing in our Y, believing in our mission, and really making an impact in Southeastern Massachusetts in all our communities. So it's truly my pleasure, my honor to present you with the award tonight. And I'd invite you to make a few remarks. So thank you so much, John.
Mary, thank you. I'm sort of humbled by many of your words, because as a community foundation, we have a unique posture in the foundation world, in the philanthropy world. We're not a private foundation. We're not a corporate foundation. We're only as good as the community that we serve. And we are a reflection of that. And so when that weekend of March 13th happened and we realized the world was severely changing, we said we need to do something. We need to come up with an emergency response fund. And I will joke, and there's staff on the call who will confirm this. I thought if we raised $500,000 or $1 million, that we would have done something really good. Well, as of last week, we've raised over $9 million for our emergency response fund. And when we realized this was finally an opportunity for us to live up to our mission to serve our entire region, that although we're based in New Bedford, we were obligated to people in Taunton and Attleboro and Easton and Plymouth and Brockton and throughout. And it gave us an opportunity to do that. So we started talking to people. Who do we know? Who do we go to? And I want to really tip my hat to Michelle Roberts and Jeff Bradley and Pat Murray at Bristol County Savings Bank and said, have you met Ed Hurley? I'm like, no. Well, now I have a new best friend in Ed Hurley, and that story continued to evolve. To your point, Mary, it's a relationship that continues to grow. And I also want to say, and Ed doesn't even know this, and I'm going to embarrass two other people on the call. I also got connected by two old college friends, Colleen Duffy and Sharon Kennedy, neither of whom I had spoken to in a long, long time. And they said, hey, this is going on. And we knew as soon as we met Ed and we spoke to you, to the organization and saw what you're doing, because I got to be honest, we saw a lot of nonprofits that were flat-footed when COVID hit and had no idea how to fulfill their mission. And you did, because as you said, Mary, you led with mission. And you led with heart, and you led with humility and joy. And I got to tell you, one of the best moments I had was the day before Thanksgiving when I got to come and help in the food distribution. So I really want to thank you for honoring the South Coast Community Foundation. Again, we do this work with as much humility as we can because we are a means to an end. In a lot of ways, we don't matter. You're the ones doing the work. We're just here to help you be successful. So everything we can do to help you be successful is time well spent. And I also want to say I'm accepting this on behalf of some amazing staff people who did incredible work at the South Coast Community Foundation, and many, many partners who stepped up and said, how do we help? Which is exactly what I know motivates the Hockomock YMCA. So thank you so much for honoring me and the South Coast Community Foundation. And all I can say is hopefully we're a reflection of all the good values you bring to this work. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Wow. So I just am, every time we have these meetings, I'm speechless. I look at the great work that's going on. I look at the people that we get to recognize. There's so many people deserving. It's very hard to pick just a handful, but I must say it's been a privilege. So I guess as my final act of business here is my chance to say thank you. I feel like Paul Lenahan, I'm choking up already, but it's been 3 years as the chair, and it was a real privilege. So back in 2018, I stepped into some very big shoes, Brian Early's shoes. I think he's size 14. So yeah, I had big shoes to fill. And I took the commitment of leading this amazing board of volunteers. We have such great strength in our volunteer leadership. And I was very humbled. I said, how do I do this? So I talked to past board chairs and I said, what's the key to success? And they said, well, first you got to learn to stop taking Ed's call. No, I'm just kidding. But everybody knows when Ed calls, he's asking you to serve. He's served the community, and you're a part of something really special. And that just inspired me to take this on as a matter of service. And how could I serve? So 3 years ago at Lake Pearl, I gave you a little bit of background on myself, right? I served in the Army. I served the nation. I took the oath as an officer to protect and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So this was my oath that I took back in 1985. And never would I imagine that in 2018, when I stepped up to be the board chair, that I'd be fighting a war on COVID. This was an amazing year, and it's an amazing organization, provided so much to our community. The great work of the Y is even more important every single day. COVID challenged every one of us, but most of all, we knew we were in it together. It brought us closer. It's a year that we'll reflect on and recognize what stronger together really means. It's been so rewarding. It's been one of the most rewarding times of my life, aside from raising my 3 amazing children. So I'm filled with gratitude that so many of you came together to do this great work for our community. And to Ed, Jim, and the amazing Y staff, thank you for for the honor and the privilege, putting your trust in me to serve as your chair. And again, most of all, I have to give a big shout out to my kids, Corey, Ryan, and Nicole. Thank you for all your love and support. While mom was off at the Y, they were making their own dinner. When mom had an event, I pulled them along with me. They got to take part in Live Strong. They got to take part in integration initiative events. They got to take part in camp. They got to do neighborhood food drives. And through all this, they learned about what it is to give back. And it was truly a shared experience that strengthened my family, and I will never forget it. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce the new chair of the board of the Hockomock YMCA. I want to bring Eric Kevorkian onto the stage. He is now, he's been the vice chair for the past 3 years. He's really been an amazing partner and decision maker and really helping with so many initiatives. And he's going to do a fantastic job, and I'm going to be on the board to support him all the way. So I want to introduce Eric Kevorkian as your new chair of the board for Hockomock YMCA. So Eric, it's all you.
Thank you very much, Mary. Those words don't seem to do a good enough job, so I'll try. You mentioned the shoes of Brian Early and his shoe size, but you may not have big feet, but your shoes are just as big to fill. And I know it's going to be, it will take a lot of effort to do that. So I just want to say thank you at the outset. You know, your leadership the past 3 years has really had a positive impact on the YMCA in many, many ways. Your leadership, your stewardship of the board, it's resulted in our ability to find new volunteer board members to join our team. And just as important, and perhaps the defining moment of your legacy, has been your leadership of the WISE board during the pandemic. You engaged all of us, you directed us through a challenging 2020 and even a beginning of 2021. And the Y was fortunate that you agreed to stay on for an additional year as the board chair. At a time of crisis for so many families and organizations, and that includes the Hockomock YMCA, people naturally look for people that are steady and calm to lead them. And you were the perfect leader during that time. West Point graduate, as you said, you remained cool, calm, and collected as the chair. And let me just say, especially for a volunteer board, it was critically important. I've learned a lot from Mary, and I'm proud to call Mary Claremont a friend, but everyone affiliated with the Hockomock YMCA, members, staff, and the board, I would just say we've all been lucky to be in Mary's orbit for the past 3 years. So thank you. And on behalf of the entire Y family, it's my pleasure to present, unfortunately virtually, to Mary some tokens of our appreciation and affection. And I think they will appear on the screen. The first is a photo book that was created celebrating the last 3 years of your tenure in pictures. We hope this is something that you will enjoy as a remembrance of the impact you've made and some of the fun experiences as well. The cover of the book is displayed on the screen and it will be delivered to you. We also have a framed photo montage that will be delivered to you. And our hope is that each time you look at this, it reminds you of the kids and the families who benefited because of you and your leadership of the board. That is also on the screen. And the inscription reads, "Thank you for your passion, dedication, and visionary leadership as chair of the board to enhance lives and enrich the communities we serve." And finally, Mary, we have a captain's chair that will also be delivered to your home because you've truly been the captain of our board and the organization for the past 3 years. On the chair, it reads, "Mary Claremont, Chair," no pun intended, Board of Directors 2018 to 2021. Now that we've thanked Mary for all that she's done, someone else has to fill that void, and somehow that person is me. So let me just begin by saying that I really am humbled to have been asked to serve in the role. I know the impact Mary and prior chairs have made. Mary's leaving her role as chair at a time when, despite the past 14 months, the YMCA is strong. I also recognize that the pandemic has changed things for families in terms of how and when and where they work and play. All of us are doing the best they can to figure out what the future holds, what changes are permanent and what changes are temporary. And the why is no different. But to all of the members and the staff participating today, please know that your board knows the value the Y brings to our communities and the important role it plays in the lives of so many people. And we intend to preserve all the good that the Y provides. Now, none of us knows exactly what the new normal will look like. And yes, there will be some changes, but change isn't always a bad thing. I'm confident that if we all continue to follow Mary's example of steady hand leadership, and we allow the staff's creativity to blossom, then the Hockomock Y will continue to be a model, not just for other YMCAs, but for other organizations in the community as well. So thank you, Mary. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Ed Hurley, the CEO of the Hockomock Area YMCA.
Thank you, Eric. And as we wrap up tonight, I wanted to share a few thoughts that I have listening to the celebration tonight and the folks we honored and the comments that people made about our Y. I mean, clearly the last 15 months have been a challenge. I often found myself reflecting on the many things that, quite frankly, we had to celebrate as a YMCA. And I'm so grateful that this evening, we've had an opportunity to recognize some of our amazing partners and young people for what they did to help us to provide hope and to provide a safety net for so many in 2020. Thank you, Tom and Josie and Artie, our Red Triangle recipients, for your impact in 2020. And as Mary said earlier, when we recognize our Youth of the Year each year, it's one of the highlights of the program because you see these young people, and this year was no different. They inspire us every year. Katisha and James and Anna, we're so proud to recognize you with our Youth of the Year awards this year. And you represent young leaders that really and truly give us hope for the future. Congratulations to each of you and your families. Marcia, thank you and all your colleagues at New Hope for the important work that you do every day to protect kids. I know that our dear friend Tony Kelsey is smiling on us today as we recognize you with the Child Protection Award that is named for him. Marty and Paula, you played such a critical role last year in supporting our efforts to be there for families in need of food. And congratulations on receiving the Don Rodman Character Counts Award. John Vasconcelos, to you and everyone at the South Coast Community Foundation. Again, just thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your friendship, for believing in our mission, and for being such a great friend to our YMCA and those that we are serving in Southeastern Massachusetts. I think about, none of us could have anticipated what was going to happen or be prepared for what was going to happen to us. But while there were challenges, I think there were also opportunities for us. And I think back on how we collectively, responded to those challenges and were there for our community. And it's something we should all be very proud of. And I know I am. To all of our community partners, to our donors, to our new investors, thanks for believing in us and in the work that we're doing. When you combine that with the talented and the innovative, the passionate, the compassionate staff colleagues that I get to work with every day, I mean, that's where the magic happens. And you look at the emergency childcare that we were able to provide for first responders and the remote learning options that we were able to create to support our school partners and families in our communities, our expanded, food access initiatives. We really were stronger together. And our Y has always had a very strong foundation that continues to be built upon the incredible volunteer leaders that give their time, their resources, and their expertise to our organization. And never was that more important than in 2020. And tonight we got to welcome new members of our board of directors and our board of incorporators. And we recognized, Victoria Lechner and Paul Lenahan for their combined 51 years of service, volunteer leadership to our organization. And Paul and Vicki, I want to thank you for what you've meant to our YMCA and what you've meant to me, both personally and professionally. And, they are two of the many incredible chief volunteer officers that I've had the honor of working with and partnering with for the last 27 years. And so many of those past volunteer leaders are on the call, starting with Steve Clapp, who was a chair before I got here, but then Tom Grupioni is with us tonight. He's the person who hired me, and I'll be forever grateful to Tom for that. And John LaRocca, and Jerry Shaw, and Ed Whalen, and Greg Spear, and Jeff Duffasey, and Brian Early. I thank you all, along with all the members of our board of directors and board of incorporators, our branch boards of managers. And I know so many of you were here tonight because you want to celebrate what we're doing, but you also wanted to celebrate Mary Claremont, as Mary is completing her 3 years as our board chair. And I've been lucky to know Mary for more than 20 years. And I can't express in words, and I would have trouble if I tried, to share what Mary has meant and will always mean to both me and to our YMCA. I mean, Mary, your commitment the last 3 years and your leadership the last 3 years has really been inspiring. I mean, you have been our rock, and you certainly have been for me. And I want to thank you for your counsel. I thank you for caring. I thank you for leading. And most of all, I thank you for always being there for our YMCA. And I know that you're going to continue to do that in the years ahead. You're the best, Mary, and I'll be forever grateful for how you help lead us through these challenging times. And in closing, when I think about our YMCA and what we've been through, we didn't walk away when there were new and emerging needs that surfaced in 2020. I mean, thanks to the support of so many partners and all of you who are on this call with us tonight, we walked in the direction of what our communities needed. And collectively, we stepped up. And yes, we are stronger together, and we were stronger together. And our communities, and quite frankly, our YMCA is stronger, and we're better as a result of what we've been through. And I want to just commit to all of you this evening that we will continue to be there for those who need us. We'll continue to be there to bring people together. We'll continue to be a place that's going to welcome everyone. And we will always continue to challenge ourselves every day to make things better for those who need a helping hand. So thank you all for joining us for tonight's celebration. I want to close with a quote John F. Kennedy once said, we must find time to stop and thank the people who made a difference in our lives. And I thought about that quote, and I'm thinking, well, tonight and right now is the time for me to do that. You've all made a difference in my life in many different ways. But more importantly, all of you have made a difference in the lives of young people and families who you will never know or probably never meet. But I hope that you know that the work we have done together has made a difference. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each of you for being part of our YMCA family during these challenging times. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and look forward to seeing you all in person real soon.